His brother had once been the temple's treasure. Sickly, yes, but wise and courteous even from a young age. It was impossible not to like him. Sometimes, he would make spicy wonton soup for his younger sibling. In those moments, when his brother was just 9 years old, he seemed genuinely happy, and it felt like that happiness would last forever. But everything changed in a single day. His brother, once gentle, became angry and erratic. He refused medication and isolated himself from the clan. Even their father, who had once doted on him, turned his back on the now obnoxious boy. The vassals began to whisper that he had lost his mind, and because of that, the younger one would inevitably inherit the position of patriarch. The younger brother didn't understand what had happened. All he wanted was for things to return to how they used to be, for his brother to play with him again like in the good old days. One day, Ha mentioned that there was a strange smell in the room. The boy nearby replied that it was probably because the young master and Gon had cooked soup there after training. Ha turned to his brother, confused. Nan explained that he had spent about a month training inside the Ruby Hall. Suddenly, Ha was overwhelmed by a memory. The smell in the room was exactly like the soup his brother had once made him as a child. Hope stirred in Ha's chest. Maybe, just maybe, things would go back to normal. He reached out and squeezed his brother's hand. He'd made such a mistake, and now he needed to fix it. He tried to explain. He had called him brother earlier, and for a moment he thought everyone hated him. But maybe he'd been wrong. Gon told him he was too old to call him that. "Just call me brother," he said. Gon walked past him, but Ha stopped him and asked if he wanted to train together, like they used to. It had been so long. Gon was surprised. He asked if Ha was joking. After all, he couldn't even use Qi energy. Was this just another setup for revenge? Ha shook his head and said it wasn't like that. They were supposed to practice Qiyong that day, which didn't require Qi. Zhang, the master, told Gon not to be so naive. First impressions were often deceiving. Gon replied that he was just a kid. Ha asked if his brother remembered the goblin exercise their father used to teach them. They would practice it that day. Gon scoffed. "Isn't that just a children's game?" Chan, the master, said he was happy that his invented training method had been passed down. Gon asked if goblin fighting was really a form of training. The master confirmed it. Still skeptical, Gon said it wasn't for him to decide. They should ask Grandmaster Nung, who was overseeing his training. He expected rejection. Nung didn't like him and probably wouldn't allow it. Surprisingly, Nung said that Mr. Ha could use a sparring partner. Ha smiled and said that since the Grandmaster had allowed it, there should be no problem, right? Gon was taken aback. Nung, meanwhile, was glad. This would be a good opportunity to see whether the young master was hiding his powers. Master Zhang then offered Gon a challenge. A mock fight, where he would teach him how to make his body lighter. Gon asked how that would help him beat Ha. The master explained that Qiyong was about lightening the body's weight. He himself had spent an entire month focusing his will to master it. If Gon concentrated on the right thought, maybe there was a chance. Gon asked if that was even possible. Chan replied that he hadn't mentioned it before because he wasn't sure. But now, if Gon succeeded, he'd give him a hint on how to extend his life. Gon turned to his brother and agreed. It was time to play catch the goblin. Ha lit up with excitement and asked, "Really?" Gon asked if the basic rules were still the same. Ha nodded and handed him a blindfold. Chan whispered to the boy not to fake his enthusiasm. Ha clearly wanted to play this game himself. Ha told Gon that, if he was ready, they could begin. Gon looked at his brother and thought. Everyone already saw Ha as a genius. One day, he would become the strongest warrior in the world. But Gon still had a chance if he could master the Taiyin meridian. The master said that judging by the boy's movement, almost like a moonwalk, he was already quite skilled. But if Ha was 1 in 100, then Gon was one of a kind, the chosen disciple and the greatest of them all. He should show his brother the difference between heaven and earth. Gon replied that in his hometown, people used to say a younger brother could never surpass his elder. The master disagreed. Younger brothers learn from their elders' mistakes. That makes them better. Nan then reminded everyone of the rules. They had to throw red bean bags at each other while blindfolded. Traditionally, They wore bells around their waists to help locate each other. But Nan announced he had changed the rules. There would be no bells, and the bean bags would be wrapped in rabbit fur to muffle sound. There were 5 total, and the game would be played to 3 points. If the bag remained in the shooter's hand, it would be an instant win. Ha told his brother how long it had been since they last played Word Goblin. Gon replied it had been 6 years. Back then, Ha always made him cry by hitting him with the pokeball like sacks. Ha promised that wouldn't happen again. Nan scattered the bags and declared the game had begun. Ha realized he was really playing Word Goblin with his brother again. It was his chance to show how much he'd changed. He immediately found a bag and threw it at Gon. 1 point to Mr. Ha, Nan announced. Ha had landed a hit. Nan thought silently, Ha is good and he's taller too. They didn't need to worry about him. But what about Gon? Was he using the Taiyin meridian already? Had he given up? At that moment, Gon had reached the first stage of Taiyin meridian and was using the separation of heaven and earth technique. Nan noticed that Ha looked confused. The sound had come from the same direction as before. What was Gon up to? Ha found another bag and launched it again. Gon tried to catch it, but missed. 2nd point to Mr. Ha, Nan declared. But then something changed. Gon dodged the next strike. Nan was shocked. Was Gon really sensing the pouches? Ha was still winning, but then Nan noticed something odd. There were no more sounds from Gon. No footsteps, no rustling air. It was like he had erased his presence. Ha whispered, "Where did he go?" He remembered how he had never once beaten his brother at Word Goblin. Suddenly, he felt a cold breeze and tried to dodge. But too late. Gon struck him cleanly with a sack. Ha collapsed to the ground. Point to Mr. Gon. He wins, Nan said, clearly surprised. Ha lay stunned, memories flashing before his eyes, of how his brother had pushed him away, angry and broken. He'd never understood why, but now he did. Tears stung his eyes as he looked up and apologized. He finally realized what his brother had been carrying all along.